In some cases, particularly 2x2 games where MHCs are 2x2, so 2 strategies to the role player and 2 strategies to the column player, we can actually get a generic condition for the best response. So if we consider the matching pennies game, which had matrix A equals 1, minus 1, minus 1, 1, and B equals minus 1, 1, 1, minus 1. And if we know that the role player is playing a strategy sigma R equals x 1 minus x. So this is what we know. So we know that x of the time we're in this row, and 1 minus x of the time we're in that row. We can use this information to get a generic best response as a function of x. And so the way we're going to do this is obtain the utilities of both columns. And so what we can write down is the utility to the column player when they're playing sigma R and they play 1, 0. So we're in the first column. We can say, well, that is going to be equal to, let me just move this slightly. That is going to be equal to minus x, because we get this minus 1 x of the time, and we get this 1 minus x at the time. So minus x plus 1 minus x, which is equal to 1 minus 2x. And then likewise, the utility to the column player of against sigma R of playing 0, 1 is going to be, we could calculate it again, or we know that it's the opposite, so it's going to be minus 1 plus 2x. And now what we're able to do is look at these two plots. And let's say or look at these two lines, forgive me, on a plot. So as a function of x going between 0 and 1, we see that this first strategy here, the utility associated with the column, with the first column, is a line that goes down. When x is equal to 0, the utility is 1, and when x is equal to 1, the utility is going to be minus 1. And it crosses x equals a half. And then the utility of the second column will go up in the other direction. So here what we have is sigma R B 1, and here what we have is sigma R B 2. In other words, the utility of the first and the second strategy. And so looking at this, we can actually immediately write down what our best response is, because we can say, okay, from this, we have that sigma C star is going to be equal to always being in the first column, so 1, 0, if x is less than a half. If x is less than a half, we are over here, this portion of our plot. And if we're in this portion of the plot, the red line is the line to want to be on all the time. And then likewise, it's 0, 1 if x is greater than a half. And then we have a final point, which is a point that we'll just write down and call it indifferent if x is equal to a half. And that's an important point. We will come back to it. But this general approach allows us to write down the utilities as the linear functions that they are, take a look at the plots, and essentially read the plots to write down this general condition, this generic condition against the strategy. And this approach can work for any 2x2 game because the dimension is small enough.